I'm not saying that we're necessarily in a bubble. I just personally believe that some companies are a little bit overvalued right now. Again, part of that is because there's so much capital rushing into,
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
What do you think, in your opinion, that is realistic in real estate? And when things got out of this deal, people need to do the due diligence deeply, because it can be taking a huge risk, right?
Absolutely. And like I mentioned earlier, everyone should do their own due diligence, understand what you're investing in, understand that there's always going to be risk. The worst thing that you can ever invest in is something that says that it's risk-free unless it's a government bond. Risk-free to me is the most dangerous sentence to put in a financial term. But with that said, Harry, don't be afraid to make mistakes when you're young. That's not to say go out and make them intentionally. Again, do your due diligence, underwrite properties, get a better understanding of how to underwrite, what metrics you want to look for, and understand what those metrics really say. But at the end of the day, in terms of really getting in and just being a part of the game, if you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. If you're invested, you're going to continue being in that investment. Now, again, to your point, real estate can be risky. There are lots of different properties and things that I've underwritten in my career, from retail acquisitions, and essentially managing a portfolio of retail properties, understanding what may have happened if a tenant left or something in a lease clause didn't work out. Something that we underwrite to, Harry. Understanding, again, what are lease structures, what are rent bumps looking like in retail properties. I can think of in a past transaction, in another opportunity that I previously had in my career, we were looking at a Starbucks, right? We were trying to purchase it, and we underwrote to, I want to say, 8% IRR. Again, very core asset. We were buying it to make a strong return, but at the same time, making sure that we're going through our own due diligence process. Finally, we get to the very end of the deal, ready to go close it. And there's a clause in the contract that Starbucks could leave if the property gets sold to an institution like the one that I was working for. Of course, that completely blew up the deal. We could not invest in it. It made it, we didn't waste our time. That's another thing I also want to point out, Harry. Every deal is an opportunity to learn, whether you do it or not.
Exactly.
And I think that
Oh wow, that was a tough one.
it was
you
totally
were
tough.
you were acquired the property with the Starbucks within, but if another company will acquire that, that if you sell it, basically if you sell it, Starbucks could leave, right?
Yes. And then we would have just bought a property with no tenant in place. The rents could have been completely thrown out the wayside. We would have had to re-tenant the entire property. And don't get me wrong, Harry.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's risk there that we weren't prepared for in our investment thesis. Another private equity shop that is targeting that specifically, like going in, re-tenanting a building, taking in proceeds and certain fee structures based off of those re-tenanting. Maybe they hire a broker in-house. They can make that brokerage fee really quickly on the lease and then resell it again. I mean, the possibilities are always endless in real estate. That's part of the thing that I love so much about it, because it's so entrepreneurial in the same way that finance is. But again, you need to understand what you're getting into. There are always scenarios that, again, you can't plan for. You can plan for them at the end when you have them in front of your face. But if you don't understand, or not understanding isn't the proper term, but if you don't see something that you want to see and then it comes back to bite you in the butt, that's real estate. That's part of the process. Obviously, you want to mitigate it. You want to be aware of everything. A really strong part of doing so is having the right team in place. Thankfully, we obviously had a fantastic team that was able to look into some of these lease structures, understand like, hey, this can be a really big problem in the deal if we do buy it. And that ended up with us not purchasing the property. But some of the best deals that you're going to do, Harry, are the ones that you don't follow through with because of something like that exactly.
Yeah, you learn. You learn to be aware, like, oh, I did, I did, and the due diligence is something that especially in commercial, well, in commercial, in residential, um, you have to be able to analyze, because sometimes you get the deal and you get excited, yeah, you get emotional, like, yeah, this is gonna work, I'm gonna make a ton of money, oh boy. and and something can happen. When you're talking about commercial, we're talking about the speed of finding the tenant in commercial depends what the property is it's not as fast as the residential, right? You could
Of
be
course.
empty a year, yeah, or two.
Yeah. And I think that
Uh,
one thing that really does help with that is obviously a lot of AI tech that's come out over the course of the last, call it 2 or 3 years. I'm happy to go into some AI applications that I've used in the past. And again, Harry,
Absolutely, absolutely. Then,
sure.
if you can share with us which AI application can make the job or the due diligence easy for the people investing in commercial and real estate, absolutely share with us. That would be amazing. Thank you.
Sure thing. Shout out to Placer AI. Not sure if you've ever heard of that one, Harry, but
Which one?
Placer AI,
Placer.
PLACER.ai. If you actually look it up specifically for retail properties, think of any tenant in the world, like, I don't know, Wendy's, for example.
Hmm.
You
That's
could
a
look
good
on
tenant to have.
Placer. It's a great tenant to have. Those
Oh my,
QSR
that's
properties
it.
sell
It's
really
like a bank.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, if you go into Placer and type in that specific tenant, it'll show you every single Wendy's. And again, you can quantify it as much as you want, from zip code to county to city to state to nationally. And if you want to do national here, you could literally see what's the worst Wendy's in all of America with the slowest foot traffic, what's the highest Wendy's with all the strongest foot traffic in the world, and why is that? A lot of times it's going to be in denser cities or really strong communities with public schools or something like that, where you can almost identify immediately strong value opportunities that'll appreciate over the course of the next, give or take, 10 years. Obviously, there's always economic conditions that can change that, from political
Hmm.
passings from whoever's currently in Congress, to presidential executive orders like Trump's big, beautiful bill, to a couple of other different things that are probably blanking on my head right now, to sometimes even brokers that you're working with. As somebody who's been in brokerage in the past and is currently licensed, I take that so seriously. The last thing you ever want to do is burn a bridge. The last thing you ever want to do is have anyone talk poorly on your behalf. Uh,
Hmm.
I've always done the best that I possibly can to be grateful for every opportunity that I've been given, and obviously come away with a learning experience or two at the end. But making sure, again, that you're always transparent with people, to me, is the most important thing in any business.
I mean, commercial, when you have a good tenant, I mean, if you have a bank, like a Wendy's, like you said, it's like you hit the jackpot, right? Because no headaches. And so but in order to uh, to in order to do those deals effectively, right? Ideally, you should have the deal and also whoever is going to operate the business on top of the property, right?
Right.
Uh, so it's kind of like matchmaking, right? So, this any other AI tool that you guys use uh, in order to get you more data?
Sure. Shout out to one of my mentors, Spencer Burton, currently creating AI agents for commercial real estate. Also, my former boss. But Spencer is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. I try to meet up with him probably about once every 2 quarters or so,
Wow.
just catch up, hear what he's working on. He did just release something that's currently in beta. It's called AI Edge. It's essentially another program, Harry, that teaches you how to use AI properly, from making the right prompts, making the right suggestions,
Hmm.
understanding AI
That'd be helpful.
hallucinations if it makes something up. Uh, there's just a lot of other opportunities out there to use AI the right way. I think that Spencer's doing a really, really, really good job of
Oh
making
yeah.
this course.
So, am I one of the 500 million that we interview here in property, the other 1 out of 5 that in tech. So if you're doing property tech, you are you are in the right in the best of both worlds. Yeah, in my opinion. So do you think that AI will revolutionize the way that we do commercial property in the future?
Yes and no. Yes, for, in my lifetime, 100%. Do I think that AI is also overvalued right now? I've said that multiple times. Uh, from understanding price to earnings ratios in the stock market to different company valuations, I'm not saying that we're necessarily in a bubble. I just personally believe that some companies are a little bit overvalued right now. Again, part of that is because there's so much capital rushing into, data centers, Harry, or you get Meta with Zuckerberg and Trump having a dinner, and he's saying $600 billion being committed to the US over the next few years. And obviously, all of that's going to drive massive growth for these companies. But at the end of the day, I see them being way, way, way stronger in valuations in about 20 years. I think that right now it's a little overinflated. But who knows? I can't predict the future.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.